Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our non-Messianic conversations. This is our Sabbath class, 10th of April, 2021. Our lesson today is going to be later on in the class is the Book of Judges. We're going to deal with that. So in the meantime, I'm going to advise everybody to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Right. So we're going to right now go into our moment of silence. And the reason why we have a moment of silence is that it's in reference to our Yahweh and His Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, and all that they are doing right now in these end time days have been prophesied by the Lord of Hosts and His prophets. So we're gonna deal with that. Then we'll go into a prayer and read the Psalms, and then go into our current events. Okay. Holy, holy, holy is He who sits high and looks low. Faithful and true is He who sits upon the throne. We come praising Thee, O Lord, upon Thy day of visitation, Your holy Sabbath day. You, O Lord, foretold of these days, and they are now here upon us, O Lord. Give us, O Lord. Guard us, O Lord. Make haste to deliver us from our oppressors. You, and You alone, is Israel's Savior. We come with outstretched arms, O Lord. Your power and Your glory we know of, O Lord, will last forever and ever, according to your book and Your timeline of events, O Lord. We pray. All power and glory belongeth unto Thee. We praise Thee at this hour, and we repent of our transgressions against Thee, O Lord. Forgive, O Lord, forgive us of our transgressions against Thee. All praises unto Thee. Okay? With that being said, we're going to read the Psalms. Yeah. What I chose to choose out this day is Psalms 37. Try to keep us lined out. Okay, let me get it right quick. Says Psalms 37. This is the true state of the wicked. It's a Psalm of David. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as a green herb. Trust in the Lord, do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and He shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass. And He shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord, and wait patiently for Him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger, and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off. But those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall be, yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow, to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bow shall be broken. The little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arm of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous. The Lord knoweth the day of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil times, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemy of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, to smoke shall they be consumed away. The wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth. For such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. I have been young, and now I am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil, and do good, and dwell forevermore. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of his God is in his heart, none of his steps shall slide. The wicked watcheth the righteous, and seeketh to slay him. The Lord will not leave him in his hands, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on the Lord, keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see. I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright. For the end of that man is peace, but the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off, but the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in the time of trouble, and the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. Okay, that was Psalms 37. The true state of the wicked it's a psalm of David. Okay. All right, we're gonna go into our current events. Anybody got a current event? Okay, no current events. I'm gonna start out with I got a lot of stuff right here that's current events. But the first thing is, like I said, I don't know if anybody paying attention to it, but somebody got their eyes on South, on these southern states. And we know how they came into existence and what they did, what they did to the Israelites. So we see right here, let me get it. See right here, it says happening now. Severe storms moving through the South. It's been going on for almost a month or 2 months now. Just every time you look at the forecast, South. It's a line of severe storms bringing high winds, hail, heavy rain today in the southeast. There also a change. There is also a change to see tornadoes today. A chance, excuse me. There's a chance. There's a chance to see tornadoes today. Yeah, so we see every day. Every time you look at the weather, something going on with the South. Okay, so with that being said, I don't know if nobody aware of this, but we get yeah, they got a slavery bill. It's a slavery bill out right now. Pretty much what I'm deal with. Let me go back. Yeah, so right here is kind of, can you see that? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so it says slavery reparations bill appears a slavery reparations bill appears set to advance into the House. It says after more than 3 decades, a bill that could lead to slavery reparations proposals appears set for a major step forward. Like I say, you shouldn't be surprised because of all the stuff we've been discussing and all the stuff that's been laid out to you as far as stuff that's going on. You know, all this stuff is being orchestrated. Since the House Judiciary Committee plans to mark up the bill and vote on it Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Ain't that something? So it says if the legislation is reported, if the legislation is reported out of the committee, it would set up the first floor vote on the measure since its introduction in 1989. This is what we call the next step. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee told CBS News, America has never acknowledged the original sin, and that if you look at the African American today, the disparities that were entrenched in slavery still exist. That's what Deuteronomy 28 tells us. Contrary to what some of these folks are talking about, it says Texas Congresswoman is the lead sponsor for the bill known as H.R. House Resolution 40. It was initially introduced by the late Michigan Representative John Conyers. The measure would establish a commission to examine the implications of slavery from 1619 to the present and develop reparation proposals for African Americans. Right? See, I think people want healing. They want repair. They understand that reparations is not an injustice. It is just, said Jackson Lee. Okay, we'll keep going. What's this big? Said the bill was reintroduced at the beginning of this year after the committee held a high-profile hearing on it in 2019 on Juneteenth, the day many celebrate the emancipation of the enslaved African Americans. Witnesses introduced actor Danny Glover, writer Ta-Nehisi Coates, and New Jersey Senator Cory Booker. Okay, says, as a nation, we have yet to truly acknowledge and grapple with the racism and white supremacy that tainted this country founding and continues to cause persistence and deep racial disparities and inequalities, Booker testified. Okay, here recently reintroduced a resolution for a congressional commission on truth, racial healing, and transformation of to address systematic racism. Last month, the Chicago suburbs of Evanston, Illinois, became the first city in the nation to establish a reparation program aimed at redressing past discriminatory housing practices. Eligible Black residents can receive up to $25,000 in grants to purchase or repair a home. Reparation initiatives are also being considered in several other cities as well as states of California. This is the Reverend Robert Turner of the historic Vernon A&M Church, the only structure to survive the Tulsa race massacre. Says prayers are being answered as momentum is picking up for reparations. The church is a plaintiff in the recent lawsuit suing the city of Tulsa and other local government entities for the damages suffered from the massacre when the white mob destroyed the Greenwood district, once known as Black Wall Street, in May 31st, 1929. Okay, like I was saying before, all this stuff is not happening by accident. The time and all of it. Anybody got any comments so far?
So it's just some money for student loans. And
No, this reparations just for what was done transatlantic slave trade and what was done on the plantations all over the South, even after the Emancipation Proclamation, we still was you know we've been brutalized going on now 400 years, and so that's what reparations is about. they want to nickname it everything else, but you know, that's what reparations is about, is repairing what they done. We was over on the west coast of Africa living our own lives. And they came over there and brought us over here, drug us over here, and did everything on the sun to us.
Right, I know that. I just didn't see nothing about the money piece. Like I heard something about some loans or something, but I was trying to see what it was talking about.
Yeah,
The way
yeah,
they doing
we don't.
and the way they doing the loans nowadays, you don't even have to pay them back. And if you wait, well, anyway, I won't say nothing that'll be later on down the road, but there's gonna be money like coming from everywhere. Everybody is gonna be trying to appease or address the atrocities and the horrific, you know, diatribes that has been done to the descendants or all the, what I want to say, the descendants of the slaves,
Yeah,
basically.
like the diaspora.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so money's gonna be flowing when the Most High say that we will lead with wealth. Trust me, and there's gonna be wealth waiting on you when you get to the continent.
Right, right.
Okay.
On both sides of the Atlantic. Right.
Okay.
Okay. So let me move a little further down the road. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's right here is what they're doing right here with these ships is they building two new Titanics, pattern off of the Titanic that sunk. So the thing is that this being done in China. See back here behind there, Chinese writings back here. So anyway, I don't know if anybody familiar with uh, the movie that came out in 2012. Anybody see that?
Yeah.
Remember how it came on? They had those big old huge ships they had built. And they had them. It was in China, and they was bringing all the wealthy, all the people that they had letters with cards they had sent out to everybody that could get on the boat, on these boats, but they had them docked over in China.
Right.
You know, yeah. So again, so like I was saying before, and I was only certain people they had subscribed to get on them, and because of they knew it was a big water event was coming, and so they was, you know, they had already prepared. But it's ironic that, you know, when I saw this right here, I was going to shine a light on that. So if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. But like I said, they had these boats. You know, Noah had one, but these Chinese had built something like three big old huge boats for people to get on, and they was coming, sending helicopters and planes and getting people and bringing them there to China to get on these boats, and everybody else is going to be destroyed, die from the water. And I thought that was ironic when I saw this.
Right. One more thing on that is the actual Titanic is named after the Titans.
Right.
And the actual bravado and haughtiness of the Titans and how they were like thinking that, you know, that nothing can defeat them. And they had haughtiness and they were bucking up to the Most High. And that the actual boat sank just like the Titans were defeated. And it somehow lines up to where the actual ship lines right up with the real Titans, actual giants.
Right. Right, because it called the size. Yeah.
And then thinking
who
about
knows
that too.
that's the thing about that. Who knows that? I mean, that's from being informed. When you're able to, it's discernment.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the name of that movie?
2012.
Oh, okay.
It's got a lot more stuff in it. Actually, it's more. It's speaking more volume now than it did when it came out because we have a lot more stuff that happened since then. Yeah. So let me get this. This another part. This another part of what I just shared with you. I'm gonna go over this part too. It's about reparations too. And this is so this right here is it says slavery reparations study set for House judiciary markup, and it says a bill to study paying reparations to the descendants of slaves will be considered in the House Judiciary Committee next week, paving the way for a possible vote on an issue that has become increasingly mainstream in recent years with racial reckoning. It says the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday will mark up and vote on a bill from Texas Representative Sheila Jackson Lee that will establish a commission to examine the role of federal and state governments in slavery and racial discrimination from 1619 to the present day. The commission would recommend remedies, including possible payments to make up for centuries of lost wealth. Today, we still live with the racial disparities in access to the education, healthcare, housing, insurance, employment, and other social goods that are directly attributed to the damaging legacy of slavery and the government sponsored racial discrimination. Judiciary Chairman Gerard Nadler, New York Democrat, said in a statement Friday, the creation of a commission under H.R. 40 to study these issues is not intended to divide, but to continue the efforts to commence by state, localities, and private institutions to reckon with our past and bring us closer to a racial understanding and advancement. Let me read it one more. The late Representative John Connors of Michigan initiated an argument for reparations in Congress with the 1989 bill to study the issue. In the 32 years since the measure was first introduced, it was never been brought to the floor for a vote, although the House Judiciary Committee held hearings on Jackson Lee's bill in 2019 and in February. The proposal has gotten increased attention since a 2014 article in the Atlantic by Tallahassee Coates, arguing that descendants of slaves should be compensated for their predecessors helping build the U.S. and its economy. Coates testified before the House Judiciary Committee in 2019. If you want to get a little more information on that, just Google the guy Tallahassee Coates, because he's really the one behind they brought everything back to light again. So anybody got a comment? Yeah, so let me do this right here, because like I was saying, I mean, like everybody might not be aware of it, but like I said, they have a group of people that they blacks. This even go back to the temple when Antioch Epiphanes came. It says that a group of let me read it. I'm in the pocket. Tie your shoes up. So it's in First Maccabees. Okay, what's going on in First Maccabees is Daniel prophesied. I show you the order. The angel comes, give the prophet a dream, then Then he comes and he explains the dream to the prophet. Then the scripture's gonna say it came to pass. If it don't say it came to pass, then it ain't come to pass. And if you don't see that order and play itself all the way out, then somebody tampered with it. So Daniel gave a prophecy that somebody was coming, and that the temple was going to be destroyed. That he had a dream. It came to pass right here in First Maccabees. It says it came to pass right here after Alexander of Macedon, son of Philip, who came from the land of Checham, had utterly defeated Darius, king of the Medes and Persians, that he reigned in his stead as he did before over Greece. So he came on the scene. And then the Greeks started ruling the world. Then at the end of the Greek kingdom, this wicked man, the Antichrist, came, Antiochus Epiphanes. So I'm going to read that. It says, there sprang from them, that's the Greeks, it's at the end of the Greek kingdom, there sprang from them a sinful root named Antiochus Epiphanes, the son of King Antiochus. And he had been hostage in Rome, and he became king in the 137th year of the Greek kingdom. So I'm putting a plug in there because a lot of stuff ain't registering with people. If you go and do your research, they first became Christians at Antioch. They first became Christians at Antioch. So it says right here, there sprang from them a sinful shoot named Antiochus. See that? There ain't no coincidence. Antiochus Epiphanes, the son of King Antiochus. So Antioch is a city named after this dude right here, Antiochus. So what's good about that? Okay. Anyway, and he had been a hostage in Rome, and he became king in the 137th year of the Greek kingdom. In his days, look at this. In these days, there arose out of Israel lawless men who persuaded many. Let me read again. In those days, there arose out of Israel, the Israelites is black. So these Negroes right here. Let us go and make a treaty with the heathen round about. It says, in those days there arose out of Israel lawless men who persuaded many. So these people in authority in Israel, the Israelites, black men, Negroes, say, so they decided, they ain't trusting in the Lord of hosts. In those days there arose out of Israel lawless men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a treaty. You go to treaty right here, what they're talking about in Revelations. Let us make a treaty with the heathen round about us, for ever since the time we became separated from them, many misfortunes have overtaken us. So let me deal with that right quick, and I'm gonna get back on the lesson. So he said, ever since the time that we've been separated from the heathen, many misfortunes have overtaken us. Well, let's look at it. Show you how wicked this is if you ain't reading it right. So I'm back in Genesis. Yeah, I said Genesis. I'm back in Genesis, and it says, okay, let me get it. I'm in Genesis chapter 2, verse 8. It says, and the Lord God planted a garden eastward of Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Right? So he's telling you right here, separation happened. Okay, then we go over here, we understand that Japheth is Cain's descendants, right? So it says right here, keep going. I'm in chapter 4, verse 10. It says, and he said, talking to Cain, what is this that thou hast done? The voice of thy brother cried from underneath from the ground, and the Lord God, and now thou art cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. And when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from that face shall it be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slew Cain, vengeance shall be taken from him. Vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord said, a mark upon Cain, that anyone that finds him shall kill him. Then 16, Cain went out. Separation right here. See that? It's when you understand who Japhet is and who Shem is. So separation happened right here. He's the forefather. Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Then it goes on to list Cain's descendants, which later on became Japhet. So let's go back. So this clown just said right here in First Maccabees, he says, in those days there arose out of Israel lawless men who persuaded many, these Negroes in Israel. Let us go and make a treaty with the heathen round about us. Ever since the time we became separated from them, many misfortunes have overtaken us. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Because the Lord of hosts separated us from them, because they was wicked as hell. So this goes, like I'm showing you, this goes all the way back to that. So now, let's go back to what we were talking about, reparations. I want you to watch this. And I was telling you about at the time when Lincoln passed the Emancipation Proclamation, all the Negroes, they was fed up. Most had a spirit on them. They all went to the seacoast. They was ready to go. They burned out on dealing with these wicked white folks and these Gentiles, and they was on the weak seacoast. Well, you got a group of people called the Boule. They set oaths. They set oaths with the Gentile, just like these men did. The fallen angels came up on Mount Hermon. They set oaths. That's where they getting these oaths from. That's where they getting this system that's in place. They got it from these fallen angels, which is wicked as hell. So they set oaths with them. They call them the Boule. Well, they sent some old slick Negro down to the seacoast. A lot of people probably don't know this. He went down to the seacoast, talked all the black folks off the seacoast. He talked them back, and they ended up, that's why we still here. So you say, well, what you talking about? Well, let's look at it. And Marcus Garvey went and got the Black Star Line. I think 4 or 5 ships, big ships to take us back. We was ready to go then. They bought W.E. Du Bois. And he attacked Marcus Garvey and set him up. They used him to set him up. But to this very day, now they got a museum over in Ghana for W.E. Du Bois. So we still here because of that. So let's look at this right here. And you got to be aware of this. So the same thing happens now that you awaken and you find out who JC is. So when you start breaking that down and showing people who he is, that he's garbage, then here come these boule, here come these house trained Negroes coming to beat you back under that understanding. So let's look at it. This is I was reading where it says they had a judiciary committee thing online. This was during the time of the when coronavirus reckon happened. So let's look at it. Okay, we gotta go back over here. Like I said, you probably don't know nothing about this, but we're gonna get to it today. Right here. Here you go. Here we go. I'm gonna be jumping around here, so this the actual thing. This they put it on video. This actual congressional hearing they had, like I said, for reparations. So we're gonna start it out.
Against humanity. Starting back in 1619, before we were a country, and continuing through the time we were a country, enshrined in our Constitution, unfortunately, institution of slavery, and not coming out until after the war in 1865. The impact of slavery as a society continues to grapple with us today, and everything from racially unequal economic opportunities. I've got somebody calling me. Do I just excuse me? James, what is it? Oh, who's going to give me the motion? Thank you. All right, team, that was just a practice because apparently we're not on YouTube yet, or we're not on something, and somebody, it's like the official has to give us the flip the coin and let us start the game, and we got started during the pregame introductions. But
Okay, we're gonna move forward. So here go one.
Hearing on the HR 40 and the path of restoration of justice. Little did I know that a little less than 2 years later, I would once again participate in this hearing of this subcommittee, this time as a member. I want to thank the ranking member Johnson for the honor of
So this guy right here, Burgers on. See that?
And I want to again thank Chairman Cohen, my fellow committee members, and invited guests for this opportunity to share my story with you today. Before I share my story, let me emphasize 3 points to help guide us through our discussion. First, let me reiterate that slavery was and still is evil, whether it be the 83-year history of our nation or prior 33,000-year history or the presence around the world today. Incompatible with American ideals, we purge the stain from our nation's soul at the cost of 600,000 American lives. I'm a product of that evil practice. My great-great-grandfather Silas arrived here in the belly of a slave ship, sold to the Burgess Plantation. He escaped through the Underground Railroad and died a successful entrepreneur. Built the first black church, elementary, purchased 102 acres of farmland he paid off in 2 years. Second, reparations is not the way to right our country's wrong. But I propose later.
See what I'm saying? So here go another one. It ain't hard to figure out what's up with him. So his thing is that, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And contrary to what can happen, do what you gotta do by the bootstraps. Contrary to they took U.S. planes, military planes, and dropped them on the Black Wall Street. And that's the reason why a lot of the situation we in. That area was being built up, and we was migrating there. So they came and blowed it up. So let's look at on their side. When they came here, it was the 13 colonies. Imagine if the Indians would have came with some airplanes and blowed up the 13 colonies. 13 colonies wouldn't be where they are today. This Negro here talking about come up, pull up from the bootstraps. How you gonna pull up from the bootstraps when somebody constantly blowing up everything that you're doing? And then on top of it, it took you from your homeland, separated you from your relatives, half of them over here, half of them over there. You done raped the little boys and raped the little girls and all that. And look what he talking. So this is the same type Negro right here that came and talked them off of the seashore. The same type of nigga right here that took Negro, that had Marcus Garvey incarcerated and sabotaged the ships that he had to take us out of here.
And took the boots.
Right, exactly. But they going under the radar because Negroes ain't understanding that. You got to be able to discern the distinguish between this here.
Right.
But we haven't done that up to this point. That's why I'm here. So let's keep going.
Come on.
And so like I said, look in the background. See, he's a football player. See that Super Bowl? I mean, NFL football player. So what? You know what I'm saying? It's time out for that.
Yep.
See that? So he got an appeal like a rappers and all that. I don't. So if a rapper can't go in there and break these scriptures down and know who he is and know who the Lord of hosts is, then what he got to talk to me for?
Right.
He ain't got no appeal on me. So let's keep going. Okay.
It will be more lasting. Third, it is impractical.
So all these people have been set in place for,
It is also unfair and heartless.
You got to hear this right here, though. Now watch this here.
The reality is that black
now when you go back in our history, you're going to understand that
history of millions.
Let me stop it right quick.
As a bobsled.
We are highly intelligent. We got melanin in us, which is called dark matter. That dark matter comes from heaven. And I showed you how that melanin is in the angels. So we the ones that's highly intelligent, not them. We can't see our intelligence because we surrounded with this Greek propaganda machine that constantly denigrated us. So let's look at it. Now watch
and
this
is
brother right
competed
here.
as a mixed martial
Everybody
artist.
should know who he
He was a
is.
supporter of President Trump in 2016 and 2020, spoke at the 2020 Republican National Convention. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice Studies from the University of Georgia. Mr. Walker, you'll be recognized for 5 minutes. At this point, I need to
It's Herschel Walker. Now watch this
go to the
conversation.
Natural Resources Committee for organizational meeting. And Ms. Jackson Lee, if you're there, if you would take the chair for Mr. Walker's testimony and until I can return. Ms. Jackson Lee,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
you're recognized. Mr. Walker's been recognized, and you are now the acting chair. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, I can't thank you enough for your stupendous leadership and friendship. We will do this together. And again, thank you for your history on all of this. Glad to work with you and Chairman Nadler. I just wanted to interject that as you move to your other committee. And I'm delighted to listen to Mr. Walker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Watch this.
Mr. Walker, you're recognized.
Chairman and ranking members, I thank you for this opportunity to speak on reparations, which has been spoken about many times over my lifetime. But over the past year, it's become a hot topic. I asked the question, why? There's been many surveys show that a large percentage of black and white teens will say racism is better today than yesterday. We use black power to create white guilt. My approach is biblical. How can I ask my Heavenly Father to forgive me if I can't forgive my brother? I never want to put anyone's religion down, but my religion teaches togetherness. Reparation teaches separation. Slavery ended over 130 years ago.
Not bad.
How can a father be asked his son to spend prison time for a crime he committed? In the case we speak of, we're researching farther back in history. The history of many are not taught or spoken about in school. America is the greatest country in the world to me. A melting pot of a lot of great races, a lot of great minds that have come together with different ideas and make America the greatest country on earth. Many have died trying to get into America. No one is dying trying to get out. Reparations. Where will the money come from? Does it come from all the other races except the black taxpayers? Who is black? What percentage of black must you be to receive reparations? Do you go to 23andMe or a DNA test to determine the percentage of blackness? Some American.
So let's look at this right quick. So I don't mean to cut this off, but so what I want to inject and show you is he's talking in circles. So go back to the garden. When the serpent came in the garden talking to Eve, it's the same way he's talking. You know, there's no conclusion, or he ain't getting to no certain point. He started bringing up tons. But he's not coming right to the point. He's bringing up all this garbage about you can't figure out who's who and all this. When you can figure out if they got African descent and African features in them, then you know how did they get that as African features? It's because you brought some people from Africa over here. That's why they had a color in them. When he's talking about how you can't distinguish who supposed to get this and who supposed to not get this and all that. You know what I'm saying? So listen to the conversation.
Ancestors just came to this country 80 years ago. Their ancestor wasn't even here during slavery. Some black immigrants weren't here during slavery, nor their ancestors. Some states didn't even have slavery. We as black Americans have always wanted what the Constitution stated, all men, black, white, and today Latino, Asian, Italian, etc., should be guaranteed the alienability of rights of life, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. Years later, after slavery ended, Dr. King, I Have a Dream speech, said, the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation was a great beacon of light, but hundreds of years later, we're still not free because of segregation and discrimination. Today, I call that reparation. I asked my mom, who is in her mid-80s, her thought on reparation. Her words, I do not believe in reparation. Who is the money going to go to? Has anyone thought about paying the families who lost someone in the Civil War who fought for their freedom? Your dad and I taught you, speaking of me, to provide for you and your family through a good education and hard work. If you give a man a fish, you feed him a day. You teach him to fish, you feed him a lifetime. Reparation is only feeding you for a day. It's removing the sign of for whites only, replacing the sign for no education here. Black America is asking for a hand up, not a hand out. Another big question, who is the guilty party? Should we start at the beginning where African Americans sold the African American ancestors into slavery and to a slave trader who eventually sold the African American ancestors to slave owners? Slave owners who had no success and no luck trying to make a Native American whose land they took become their slave because the Native American ran away. Well, they thought it was fine then to use African American who didn't know the country, didn't know the language, didn't know the religion, and they didn't run away. So I asked, why reparation? Well, slavery is because until the year 2021, still talking about reparation, not equal education, not to compare a game to a horrible period in my life, but as I fought shoulder to shoulder with my fellow football brothers of other races, I saw struggles.
Right, comments. I'm gonna have to get off here. Comments. So you see what's going on, right?
Yeah, he bought
Yeah, that's horrible.
just like the other guy.
Yeah, let me get off here.
They're already owned by somebody, so of
Right,
course they're
exactly.
gonna.
Right, you got oaths.
Exactly.
You got oaths and obligations. But the thing about it is, you know, you not even. It's obvious that you ain't been called to deal with this. You ain't the one called to deal with. First of all, you're a Christian. First of all, and then with the narrative for being Christian is that we all you know, Jesus came and died for everybody. We all one blood, and we know
And
we
just
know
throw that
we
in
all one blood,
there.
right?
No, we're not.
Right. So you already been brainwashed right there because you can't even discern between that. Then he don't understand that it's Israelites and it's Africans.
Right.
You don't even understand that. So you ain't the man for the job.
Right.
So let me get out
What's
of this.
what's that around his neck?
Look like some voodoo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get out of this right quick.
He just following directions.
Right,
Yes,
right,
exactly.
right. So yeah, let me get on. Let me get some of that. So now you think that clown was something. Now they going under the radar because nobody ain't shining. Like I'm telling you about these people, these white women necks. And, you know, nobody all that time, nobody ain't paying no attention to that. But there's something wrong with that. So I mean that's just like you in the house late at night and somebody knock on your door, you go to the door and you talking to this dude and he got fangs hanging out in front of his mouth. Come on, man, you ain't gonna notice that? You ain't gonna deal with that? No, you ain't coming in here. But you gonna let him in, you gonna disregard the fangs. So same with this. You got how they get the long necks like that. We don't have that.
Right.
There's something going on.
And the changing of their eyes.
Yeah, right. Then all the different color eyes. Right. So let's look at this. So now watch this clown. Like I say, they going under the radar. Now they notice how all the stuff that happened to get us to this point, dealing with reparations. Now we at this point. The lady they showing you that they never came to this far. It's getting ready to be Wednesday, brought to the floor. It never went that far. Who is these Negroes? Well, who chose them to speak for reparations? It's already obvious they don't want to deal with reparations. Who got them up there? Now watch this guy right here. And like I said, this has been going on. I showed you all the way back to Antioch Epiphanies. Now look at this clown.
Yesterday, I spoke at the House Judiciary Committee on reparative justice, a fancy word for reparations, and I had a few things to say.
Let me now move to our next witness, is Mr. Elder. Mr. Elder is a conservative attorney, author, and host of the nationally syndicated radio program, The Larry Elder Show.
Yeah.
He also writes a nationally syndicated column and produces videos for his YouTube channel in association with the Epoch Times. Mr. Elder received his JD from the University of Michigan and his BA from Brown University. Mr. Elder, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Congresswoman Lee, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. I am the executive producer of a documentary that came out June 19 last year called Uncle Tom, An Oral History of the Black Conservative. And as Congresswoman Lee pointed out, Black people are a race of overcomers. And it talks about the fact that despite all the problems that have been brought up in this committee about racism, about slavery, about Jim Crow, Black people have overcome to the point now where only 20% of Black people are below the federally defined level of poverty. Still too high, but in 1940, that number was 87%. And 20 years later, that number had been reduced to 47%, a 40-point drop in 20 years. That is the greatest 20-year period of economic expansion for the history of Black Americans. And notably, that came before the Brown versus Board of Education decision. That came before the Civil Rights Bills of 1964, 1965. Despite all of this racism, all of this prejudice, Black people still overcame. I also find it ironic we're having this hearing 13 years after we elected and then re-elected the first Black president of the United States. I'm old school. I still get the newspapers thrown to my house. And the day that Obama got elected, I got the New York Times and the LA Times thrown to my home. And on the front pages of all those newspapers, there were color pictures of Black parents hugging their kids, crying, saying things like, now I can say for the first time truly that if you work hard, you can be anything you want to be. In 1997, Time Magazine and CNN did a broad survey of Black teens and white teens and asked both of them whether or not racism was a major problem in America. And both of them said yes, not too surprisingly. But then Black teens were asked the following question. Is racism a big problem, a small problem, or no problem in your own daily life? 89% of Black teens in 1997 said racism was a small problem or no problem in my own daily life. In fact, twice as many Black teens as white teens said felt.
You hear that? He said racism ain't no problem. These teens. I wonder what teens he talking to.
Wow.
I said, racism ain't no problem. He downplaying. There's a gorilla in the room. He acting like it ain't there.
Right.
Take advantage of available opportunities is a bigger problem than racism. End of quote. And that again was 23 years ago before Obama got elected, let alone re-elected. Speaking of Obama.
So the Most High said that, and this is not something the Most High speaking to us. But like I said, we're not able to discern what's being said and not calculate it in our mind. That's what he's saying. He says, those who have eyes, let them see, and those who have ears, let them hear. Look at this clown. He ain't even got to say nothing. Look at him. Come on. He ain't even got to say nothing. Like I say about the next. Look at him. You ain't even got to say nothing. Look at him.
And I was just looking up Herschel Walker. He is on, when you look up his name, you know, he was married to white women, and then his son is now gay, and he's supporting his gay son. So he's really caught up. Right.
And but they got a status, and that's how we've been controlled. It's not the Caucasian that's controlling us. The Caucasian got sheep herders. These the sheep herders.
Right.
And they the ones coming out because we looking at them. Remember they played football or this and that and other, but they don't have nothing. They don't have nothing to do with the Torah, the Tanakh. They don't have nothing to do with Hebrews. They ain't got nothing to do with that. They clowns. And like I said, look at him. You cut him off for a week where he can't eat, you know, because he threw. He wouldn't even know what to do. Look at him. And then, so what I'm saying is this: when you go back in our history, just like when we get ready to study about the judges, these men were powerful men, dominant males. This ain't what comes up out of the Israelites. These ain't the type of leaders that came up out of Israel back in the day. Look at this clown.
Right.
So the melanin itself is not going to produce this. They ain't going to produce this. And then, like I said, look at Herschel Walker's delivery. He ain't the most high. Like I said, melanin is the most intellectual substance in the universe. That's what's in us. It's not gonna produce this.
Hmm.
Come on.
Herschel Walker he was reading off that paper they typed up from him, and he stayed on script.
Right, exactly. But I say, look at his comments.
Right.
Look at his first couple of sentences. He said, you already know where he's going. He'll clown.
Yeah.
So
Right.
what you mean by that? Like, I mean, if he melanated, you know, he just willingly switching sides, is what you're saying.
No. He the melanated when okay. Let me go. I want to make it real time. So I'm in Zechariah. Let me get it right quick. Okay. Zechariah chapter 4. So you got it, chapter 4?
Mm-hmm.
It says in verse 1, and the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man waking out of his sleep. And he said unto me, what seest thou? So what he dealing with? He's able to come and talk to him because of the melanin and the pineal gland. That's the reason why we got melanin and the pineal gland. He able to talk to him. So this angel, the conversation he having, the melanin that's in Zechariah being manipulated. Well, where he got his degree at? Who he dealing with? He dealing with the white folks. They done manipulated the melanin in him.
Right. Dealing with the Gentile. Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with it? What's the reason why we throw it off like we are? These angels ain't coming no more. Our forefathers ain't. They part of the melanin that was given us, and it was all lined up. Like I said, it's an order. It was all lined up. It ain't lined up now. The Negroes that we dealing with them. And they done manipulated them. They going to their schools, going to seminary, and they done told them. If anybody know anything about seminary, they told them you got to, every time you have a sermon, you got to preach Jesus in it. You got to put Jesus in it. You got to start out with Jesus, and when you finish, you got to finish with Jesus. So the reason why we didn't know who the Lord of Hosts was, because that was the system was in place. But the Most High came in and he manipulated the melanin that's in us.
Mm.
If he hadn't done that, we still be told. But that's why they can. He talking like he talking. Herschel Walker talking like he talking. W.E. Du Bois, all these clowns. When you start talking about a speech, they gave him the speech.
Yeah.
So, but we ain't, like I said, we looking at just like people hollering they awake. No, you ain't awake. If you can't see who JC is, you ain't awake. You half-ass awake. You think you're awake. But because that's still part of the system. The church, all that's part of the system. The bank. If the Most High told you, don't loan nobody nothing, that's an abomination, it's a sin, it's a transgression, then a bank is a transgression. It's an abomination.
Come on.
But we sitting there, because like I said, from 6 years old enough, you just starting to walk, they lead you right off into the schoolhouse.
Right, we was in their school, their teaching.
For 12 years. By the time you get 18, you go. You ain't dealing with nothing has to do with melanin. Or a purpose that the Most High gave us the melanin. Because like I said, we sing songbirds and all this stuff that melanin was given to us to deal with him. But it's been manipulated. We ain't using it right. Yeah. So, but thank God he showed back up, and now he's dealing with that. Let me play a little more of this.
Obama, 2007, he ran for presidency.
So he knows nothing about none of this we talking about.
Found that community black banks often have a higher turn down rate for would-be borrowers than the majority banks because they are more thinly capitalized. So just because something has a disparate outcome does not mean that outcome was a result of racism. We've also talked a lot about the police officers. A few days ago, as I started to say, a man was in the backyard of his own house, matched the description of a suspect who was running on foot, police officer chasing, mistook the homeowner for the suspect, shot and killed him. I doubt that very many people know about this, And the reason you don't know about it is because the cop who shot the suspect was white.
So you want to check it out. It's Larry Elders shuts down reparations. See what they say? It's no different than W. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey. Larry Elders, this the Boule, shuts down reparations. That's what he sent for. That's what the Boule there for. So it says these same elders over in Israel when Anti-Epiphanes came. See that? It says Larry Elders shuts down reparations bill. So that's why they put him there. Out of all the super sharp brothers that's been dealing with reparations up until this point, none of them ain't able to talk. But they put this clown up here that ain't groomed to talk.
Yeah. Right.
See that? You have to understand. But so like I said, it's no different than what he done than what W. Du Bois done with Marcus Garvey.
Right.
So anyway, so we're gonna go now. I want to show you this here. Like I say, tie your shoes up. So he says, like I said, I ain't got to guess or do nothing. He's part of some fraternity. They've been to school. They part of some fraternity, right? That's those fraternities are Greek fraternities, and the Greeks got their understanding from these out of Egypt. And the Egyptians got it from the fallen angels. That's what these fraternities are. So let's look at it. So now I was showing you last night this right here. Let me get it right quick. So now you're gonna understand why they were doing what they did the other night. I showed you. Here we go. Because they're getting ready to do something. All right, let me get this out of this. Okay. Here we go. Okay, now here we go. Just listen to just watch what's going on because this is in Chinese.
の中連なる異様な車列、数千年の
So this is why they showing this right here. This is why this happened. See that? This is the origins of the Greek fraternities. Here you go. We saw this last night. Now this is why they doing this. Because all of them tied to this. These Negroes right here I'm showing you, and all of them, something getting ready to happen. See that? All the Greek fraternities, all these Boule Negroes, and even the secret societies all go back to this. All this here came about. See? All this came, see, that coffin about 10, 15 feet long. These giants. Look at the red hair. See the red hair on the giant? Let's go back. Go back. See that? Right there in your face. But you just saw this 2 years ago, you wouldn't know what was going to see that. That's a pharaoh, but look, you got red hair. So what is that telling you? That's the 29th dynasty. Look at the big snars. See that? All this stuff tied together. So they know what's going to go on. Masons, the Masonic, the Blue Lodges and all that. All this, they know what's going to happen. That's what this is about. It's a ritual. Okay?
Right. I also found something else out about Egypt, or at least from my own personal understanding. But there was a lower and upper Egypt. And at times it was two kingdoms just like Israel and Judah.
Right.
And it was two separate kings that was running two separate Egypts. And if you're looking at that a certain way, you could think that that's the whole Egypt being ran by one king, but it's two kings in a lower and upper Egypt. And when you think about that, lower Egypt is really the northern part of Egypt, and upper Egypt is really where the Nubians are at. So that's where Kush and Egypt mix, is that upper Egypt. And there was a different pharaoh than it was in the lower Egypt. It's like, you really got to start looking at that. That's what I'm looking at right now. And it could tie into the Ptolemaic dynasty, which we know is overran by the Greeks. But even when I did the DNA test, they tried to say that our DNA goes back to Ramses III.
Right.
Ramses III had dominion over Upper Egypt, which is the Nubian Egypt. So at that time, there was a Nubian Egypt versus the, I mean, that it's a lot to, I'm looking into it right now, but it's crazy. Like, I mean, if you don't recognize that there was a split, but in Egypt at certain times, they did unify in certain periods. It was a whole bunch of different Egypts. You got ancient Egypt, old Egypt, new Egypt. Like Egypt is very ancient and it's different periods. So you got to look at what king is crazy.
Right. So let's break that down. It ain't gonna take that long. I'm in Genesis chapter 1:26. This the point I keep on making. You know, people want to say that, you know, where you getting that from and all that. Well, let's look at that. I mean, 1:26, Genesis 1:26. You got that?
Yes.
So it says,
right. And one more thing, that's where the Elephantine Empire cut through too. So when you look at the Bantu migrations and stuff like that, and where we started to flee from Israel, we went from Northern Africa down into the Elephantine Empire. Well, that connects right to that same Upper Egyptian or Lower Egyptian dynasty. So if you start looking at that, okay, I mean, I'm trying to connect that.
Right.
Elephantine Empire is right there in that Nubian Empire. They connect right there.
Right.
Okay.
So in Genesis 1:26, it says, God said, Yahweh, let us make man in our image and in our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, fowls of the air, over cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So to be plain, Yahweh talking to these 7 angels. That's what he's talking about. Not no Trinity. He says, God said, Yahweh said, let us, the 7 angels, him and these 7 angels, right? Said, let us make man in our image, go, and then we get to 27. So God, Yahweh, created man in his own image. In the image God created he him. Male and female created he them. So this a man right here created a woman with him. This ain't none of Adam, right? Keep in mind, Upper and Lower Egypt. So he go to man right here, he created with a man and a woman. So this under the radar when you start talking about intellectuals and all the people and the rabbis and everybody in the seminary, they don't understand this. So he created a man and a woman right here in Genesis 6. Then he rested in chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished. See that? And all the hosts. And on the 7th day, that's the reason why we keep the Sabbath. We're keeping it today. God ended his work, which he had created and made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work. Then, verse 4, these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God, now it's the Lord God, it's the Lord of hosts, made the earth and the heavens. That every plant of the field before it was in the earth, every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. So what's that telling us? He got a man and a woman over here, but he haven't created a man yet to till the ground, a man that's tied to the earth. What's in the earth? The melanin. Melanin. So he formed this man. This man right here don't have no woman.
Right, he was by himself, right?
By himself. This is Adam. Adam. Okay. That's how we know this Adam. So, but he already had created a man over there. So we gotta. So this a bloodline over here. With the man and the woman in Genesis 1:26. This is a whole nother bloodline. Adam. Right? So then Cain came. Cain is another bloodline. Right? And then we know the angels came down and sleeping with men, so that each giant, each man got when he started breeding with women, he got a lineage that comes forth. That's the lineage that we're dealing with in Genesis chapter 10. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10. We're going somewhere. So, Genesis chapter 10 says, now, these are the generations of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Off the top, you know, these different lineages. Japheth ain't none of Noah's son, right? And Ham is the 6th-day man that he made with the woman, right? So we keep going. And you go to Ham, right down there. Ham lineage says, and the fallen angels came. Genesis chapter 10, verse 6. The sons of Ham, right? Cush, that's the people you just talked about. They the ones that was ruling Lower Egypt. They was ruling Lower. That's Ham's son. He's out of the lineage of Ham. Then Mezarine, them giants. So what then happened? These giants that came down and injected themselves, they seed into Ham's lineage. These Mezarine is the Egyptians. What the Egyptians did to the Israelites? Oppress them. What the giants do? They oppress.
Yes.
So, and what else do the giants do? They put on crowns. So Upper Egypt is these giants right here that was injected into Ham's lineage, the 6-day man lineage. That's Upper Egypt. That's why they got the serpent. They're telling you what's going on with them. They got a serpent on their head. And then what they do, they oppress it. They oppressed Lower Egypt. They took the snake on the head and took the Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt was dealing with the hawk, with the eagle. They took both of them, put the snake and the eagle on his head. It's an invasive species. That's how you get Upper and Lower Egypt. So you say, well, what are you talking about? That's not how the Most High set it up. He set it up where he put Adam's descendants was ruling the planet, right? Okay, so these giants, this invasive species came, oppressed everybody on the planet. That's the reason why Egypt is so great. So let's look at what happened. Now, the people that he had to rule the planet was Jacob's seed that came out of Adam. So let me get that right quick. So when they came, so the original order was that Adam's seed descendants was in charge of the planet. These giants came down, the 200 giants came down in Egypt, created Mezarine, these Egyptians. And the Egyptians built this civilization nobody can compare with. That's the reason why it was such a high civilization, because you're dealing with angelic beings, giants, and all that. So then the Israelites went there. I'm in Exodus chapter 12, verse 37. So the original order was, he had a 6-day man, and then he created Adam's descendants. Adam's descendants supposed to rule they were servants to the 6-day man. Ham is a servant to Adam's descendants. So the giants oppressed them in Egypt. Moses came and delivered them out of Egypt. When he delivered them out, I'm in Exodus chapter 12, verse 37. And the children of Israel, these are the people that rule the planet, journeyed from Ramesses, Sackcloth, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside the children. Now look at this, 38. And a mixed multitude went out with them. Why? It's an invasive species that showed up in Egypt. Mosai people came down. He said, my people oftentimes go to Egypt, and the Egyptian oppressed them. Now he done delivered them. Well, this 6-day man, he don't want to stay there either. It's an invasive species in the land of Egypt. They want out. So when the Most High delivered Jacob, 38, and a mixed multitude went up also with them. They left because there's a wicked ass species over there in the land. They don't want to be there no more. Okay. But like I said, when you follow the narrative, what they done told you, they telling you over here, Ham, Shem, and Japheth is Noah's sons, but they ain't. So if you believe in that, then you stuck. You can't go no further. You can't get no more enlightenment because you believe in that Japheth is his son when Japheth got blonde hair and blue eyes. How you gonna have that's like ain't no way under the sun an elephant gonna have no giraffe. If most from the beginning, the Most High created elephants, they've been having elephants, 2 elephants get together, they've been having elephants all this time, and all of a sudden an elephant have a giraffe. Somebody lying somewhere. So the picture that we looking at on the screen, look at the man's hair. See that? Something happened. They're telling you he a pharaoh, but look at his hair on his head. They're showing you right in he got the mummy wrappings on him. Look at his neck. See that? Something happened. But they telling you that this is Pharaoh. So we know, you can't go for nothing that they didn't say. Now that you know all this stuff, you can't believe nothing they didn't say. The Most High says, those that have ears to hear and eyes to see, them the ones that's the elect. That's the ones he raising up. That's the ones he dealing with. Okay. Any comments? Any comments?
Nah, yeah, it's just crazy. Like, I mean, all this is real deep. I mean, that's why I'm studying. You know what I'm saying?
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about the mixed multitude that went out with them.
Right.
Probably a lot of the problem they had in the wilderness after that.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because it was people that came out with them that was mixed with the angelic DNA. Plus, they had 6-day man DNA. It was mixed. It was a mixed multitude.
I never realized that they had,
right.
More people went out. Yeah.
Right. So you say, well, what you talking about? Well, Jasher tells you that after Jacob had died, when Ishmael, let me see how they go. Japhet, Ishmael, yeah, and Abraham's children that he had by Cook. He got married again after Sarah died. They all intermingled together. They mingled. Most I don't deal with that. So they all intermingled together. That's who the Arabs are today. Now you want to know why they so whacked out? Jasher tells you that. They all got in the area where we over there now. We dealing with it now over there in the so-called Middle East, that area. They all intermingled. Let me see what that guy was. Midian, the Midianites, Ishmaelites, all them became one nation, one people. It's just like Esau, he didn't intermingle himself. And when you're trying to track him, he tells you Japhet and Esau became one. Edom. And Edom is wrong. But you ain't gonna never figure that out if you sitting there believing what they saying. And so when you understand that, how is it somebody hid in the bush from the beginning of time that's gonna come and die for their blood gonna die? I mean, they gonna die and their blood gonna heal everybody. How you gonna with all these different lineages? How can one man come and die for everybody? That's crazy. That's a joke.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Come on. But we believe in that. Then, like I said, you have this clown right here. He don't even understand that. But you talking about an age-old problem of reparation, the most hideous crime ever been committed by humanity. But they got you talking for it when you can't even see that you've been hoodwinked with JC. You ain't the man for the job. Come on. That's our predicament. That's our predicament. Like I said, when the Most High got ready to deal with us, he raised a man up from amongst us. Moses and Joshua. Wasn't these clowns that we dealing with now? They got secret oaths.
Right.
Yeah.
And self-serving people.
Yeah.
I always think about Marcus Garvey. I said, I know it probably was, if not worse then, because
Right.
a lot of people weren't awakened then. So I just can't even imagine
Right.
the struggle he had.
Right. Exactly. Right. And that's what the thing I'm saying too, what people are understanding, that when you understand who the Lord of hosts is, then when the it's a burden that the Most High comes with that. Most High got a burden on him, just like when he told them let me show you right quick. So when you understand that he put a burden on him, then when you go to I'm thinking it's in Numbers 18. Yeah, Numbers chapter 18, verse 1. It says, and the Lord said unto Aaron, Aaron is this a bloodline right here. Aaron's bloodline dealing with the Levites. So he says, the Lord said to Aaron, thou and thy sons in thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity. See that? That's a burden. So when the Most High formed Michael, then he put a burden on him.
Mm.
The role he playing on ruling the planet and all that, being the savior, it's a burden on him. That's how we ended up over here, because he told him, listen, you can't do nothing, you can't do this, you can't do this and this, because I can't tolerate it. Why he can't tolerate it? The Most High put a burden on him. So then he came down and he came right here and he told him, Jacob got 12 sons. He goes to the Levites and he says, the Lord said unto Aaron, thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, and thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. Then 2, and thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee, that thou may be joined together and minister unto thee, but thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. So you say tabernacle of witness, what is that? That's why he's saying in Isaiah 43, ye are my witnesses. He talking to Aaron's seed and Levites. You my witnesses. You know who I am.
Right.
So forget what they talking about in the seminaries and what they talking about in the New Testament. You my witnesses. You know. It's me.
Come on.
I'm second in charge. I'm the first one, the Most High formed. Come on. So he put a burden on them. So when the prophets came, the prophets got a burden on them. They're going over everybody's head. You can't, you know, like I said, you ain't got time to how you gonna be devious when if you truly sent from the Most High, how you gonna be devious? You can't be devious. He got a burden on you. You ain't got time to be devious and making oaths and secret oaths with somebody else on the side when the Most High, you already he dealing with you. And that's not easy. That's not hard to spot. It's gonna be on the man countenance. When you see him, if the Most High got a burden on him, you're gonna see it. These clowns ain't got no burden on them. The Most High ain't even sent them.
Leonard, to me, if the spirit of the Lord of Hosts is in them, meaning those Herschel Walker and that other guy, that last one you showed, to me, they wouldn't be trying to sell out their own people.
Right, exactly.
So they got to be something else other than coming from, you know, the Lord of Hosts.
Right.
Because if they were, they wouldn't be coming like they're coming, you know.
Right.
I mean, if they already sold, they sold. I mean, not that the Most High don't have the ability to take what's his, you know, away, but that to me, they wouldn't have went to them extremes.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, you so that right there, like I said before, you see how, you mean, once you understand the construct of what happened in the very beginning, that's the reason why they flipped it around and changed it, was because of when you understand what happened from the beginning, then you come down to now, you can see what stuff ain't adding up. It ain't right. Because some ain't adding up. Like I said, how you gonna get a blonde-headed and blue-eyed man, and understanding that and this is something that we don't do, but look at when you see a brother, look at a brother, he got brown eyes, ain't no other color eyes. He got brown eyes, brown skin, woolly hair. That's what the 3 women that Jacob slept with, wives. How you gonna get a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person out of there? You can't. So somebody lying.
Yep.
So Ham, when you get on the boat, and then you get over here, now we looking at it even to the very day. Prince Philip just died. Look how he look. How in the hell is he Noah? He ain't got nothing to do with Noah.
Nope.
Look how he look.
Nothing.
So you got to go back and deal with all that. You can't move forward and act like you ain't see that.
Right. You just can't go off the color of their skin just because they got black skin. You can't do that.
Right. So let's look at that because like I was saying before, if I don't know if anybody know what a black mamba is. That's one of the most poisonous snakes in the world, right?
Right.
If you in your bedroom and you wake up and you see this black mamba sliding around in there, you gonna go back to sleep?
Better get up out of there.
Same thing. So this is the biggest lie I've been ever told. Like I said before, I just showed you at least 3-4 different bloodlines coming out of the garden.
Right.
How is it somebody hidden in the bush, hidden in Abraham's bosom, that's gonna die? His blood gonna save everybody. That's a lie from the pits of hell, and you got to halt right there. You can't keep on trying to go forward, keep on trying to quote Hebrews and quote John and Luke and all that. You can't keep doing that because you see right here, this garbage. You can't keep on going. Then your soul is detrimental to your soul. Like I said, you're not gonna go back to sleep. If you see a snake that slid under your bed, you ain't gonna go back to sleep. You're gonna get up and then you're gonna search him out and get him out of there. That's what you gotta do with this. You can't keep on going forward. And then, like I said, you got the Most High to set somebody up. Anything you say is gonna get broke down. But that ain't good enough.
Thank you, Lord. Come on now.
Come on now.
Now, when I was over in Africa, and not that I had to go there, but it just, there's a lot of people, their ears are different.
Right.
Oh, you noticed that?
Yeah, nose too. Nose.
Yeah.
Right.
But the ears to me kind of stood out. I mean, it's a lot of them. And how is it their ears are attached to their face on the side?
Okay.
Like mine, my children, my mom, my dad, their siblings, theirs aren't attached to their face.
Right.
So I don't know what that means. I mean,
it's a different person, different type of person. That's what I'm saying is that the African and the Israelite, you can once somebody shine a light on it, you see it's a difference between. You can tell the difference between the two of them.
Right.
I was just looking at Prince Philip. He looks like that mummy that we just looked at.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because like I said, she said, Queen Elizabeth said they descended from the kings in Egypt. I mean, the kings of in Israel, and they descended from the 29th dynasty, the Pharaohs. She ain't lying, but it's just that she talking over people's head because they're not understanding what she's talking about.
Right.
So then we know the 29th dynasty was Ptolemy, the Ptolemaic dynasty. Then was Europeans. So just another lie. They tell you Cleopatra. Ptolemy is her daddy. Cleopatra ain't no black queen. She was Macedonian. So that's a lie. So then we come to find out, I'll keep on telling you, the Israelites left in 143 BC. And they ended up in Africa. That's why you got all those dynasties over there on the West Coast that had existed forever. Them Israelite dynasties, they had been there. So who is the people from 143 BC to 70 AD in the land of Israel? Edomites. That's who was ran out in 70 AD. So when Queen Elizabeth say that, that's what she's talking about. So when you just understand that in itself, you already know, well, who the hell is Jesus? If the Israelites was gone in 143 BC and that Epiphanes ran them out, what's his story? Who the story is with Jesus? It's an Edomite. Josephus, an Edomite. So you sitting there dealing with Edomite terminology and knowledge. That's what they done to us. Yeah. So all that, even people probably don't even know this guy, but Constantine, when he set up the Council of Nicaea, the person that presided over the Council of Nicaea was Ebus of Caesarea. Who is that? That's an Edomite. What is Caesarea? That's a city that Herod built. Herod is an Edomite. He built a city on the sea coast, a port city called Caesarea, just like Alexander the Great built Egypt. Alexandria, Egypt, a sea coast. Ain't no different. These Edomites. So you say, well, what are you talking about? Cain went out from the presence of the God, and he did what? He started building cities.
Cities.
So they just the same people. But they got you thinking they come from Noah. They ain't come from no Noah. He told him to go get a male and a female from all flesh. He didn't say all flesh except Cain's descendants. He said get a male and a female from all flesh and put them on the ark. Yeah. So they family with it.
Yes.
So I already see right here, we're gonna have to send this over to the night, part 2.
That's all right. You're breaking it down, I'm telling you.
Right.
Yes.
So you can't, like I said, you can't keep on. I mean, I'm dealing with people over here that's come around and we talking and all that. You get a hard understanding or breakdown or something, and you seeing that it's the truth. Then you come back, you still ain't there with it. You still acting like you still want to quote stuff that had nothing to do with nothing. Wasting time. You can't do that. And then what the Most High have done is, you think it's a coincidence that he had the internet created? I got 13 brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest son. I got older sisters. Most High, what happened with us was it was 2 pairs. It was 2 girls, 2 boys, 2 girls like that. So I got 2 sets of older sisters. 2 sets of older brothers. With my 2 older sisters, they were 2 oldest siblings. When they came up back in the day, it was integration. Segregation. And so they came up in black schools. They was told by Cleopatra how, Cleopatra was supposed to be this black African queen that did all this stuff. Well, so we had got into conversation one day. We had a family reunion, and I was telling them Cleopatra ain't no black woman. So you gotta look at this situation. It's the same if I say JC a clown. See what I'm saying? Somebody you tell that to somebody, they can't handle that. But then when you go and break it down, there's a difference if I say he a clown and I can't go and break it down to the last compound. So I told them Cleopatra, Cleopatra ain't no black woman. That's a figment of your imagination. So now we got the internet. So go Google it. If I don't know what I'm talking about, go Google it. And what you gonna see? A big hook-nosed white woman with red hair, just like the mummy I just showed you. The mummy ain't got. He been dead for thousands of years, but they still got the red hair on his head. Come on.
Yeah.
So you can't active if that ain't big. You got to deal with that.
Right.
Unless you just don't care. But Cleopatra ain't no black woman at all. That's a lie from the pits of hell. So, like I said before, you gotta look at that. The red hair, right? It's been going over everybody's head. Now, go back and start looking at that. Look at all the pictures of JC. We've been fumbling with that, but now go back and look at it. It's a white man with long red hair.
Right.
Go look at it. You see, we've been fumbling with it. So now we have found out that over here in South America, they digging up all these graves all over the place. All these big old mounds where these giants was all over here. They all got red hair. So we've been lied to. Then over in China, they got pyramids, mysterious pyramids, and they got mysterious mounds all over there. They go inside the mounds, dig them up, red-head giants. The skeletons, 10, 12 feet tall with red hair. The hair still growing. And like I said, you go look at I mean, you know, a lot of people might not watch it, but go look at Grandstoke Dracula. That's an old movie. Go look at Grandstoke Dracula and check it out. He got red hair. He going out their way to make sure you he got blood red hair. The woman that he running behind up in the garden, he bite on the neck, she got red hair. We fumbling with it. So you say, what you talking about? How is it a coincidence that when they created this Jesus Christ, that they made him have red hair? That's coincidence. Once you get all this other information. No, they didn't created him a God, and they got him looking like them. That's how you know that's a figment of your imagination. But they ain't for everybody to deal with. The Most High says, let me read this right quick, because it ain't registered to a lot of people. I mean, and so we just going, the Most High deal in circles. You go around in circles. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So I'm in Ezra right quick. Ezra. Let me find it. Okay. So they in captivity in Babylon, and he wanted to deliver them. I'm gonna pick it up in verse 5. It's Ezra 1 and 5. So he didn't raise Cyrus up. He had already prophesied that Cyrus was gonna come and deliver them. So they in Babylon. 70 years is up that Jeremiah told them about. I'm in verse 5. Ezra 1 and 5. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah and Benjamin and the priests. See that? I just told you got a burden on the priests and the priests and the Levites and all them whose spirit, see that? God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. Well, we see now, with all these events that's going on, it's time. Well, we ain't gonna leave until he raise. It's some people got to raise their spirit up.
Oh, yeah.
So people spirit, it ain't a coincidence. I'm talking like I'm talking. He raising his people's spirits up. Not all of them, but he raising up his in particular the priests and the Levites.
Mm.
So what you talking about? Let's go to Isaiah 53, because this is a big ass. Excuse my expression. This is a big problem right here too. So Isaiah 53. They told you this a lie. Isaiah 53 says, you know, and like I say, people want they flip and dip and do everything on the sun. When you show them this, it says, I mean, they say Isaiah 53 is Jesus Christ. I showed you, you got long red hair, blue eyes. We know that ain't him. So verse 53 and 10. He never had no children. He never seen. He ain't never had no children. So it says 10, Isaiah 53 and 10. Yet it pleased the Lord of hosts, to bruise him, right? We're going to see what it is he bruised. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering of sin, he shall see his seed. What's a seed? Anybody know what a seed is?
The children and the
children, and particularly sons. So
right, because they had a seed. Mm-hmm.
Right. He shall prolong his days and pleasure shall. So he see JC ain't got no seed, so he ain't a candidate. So when they ask the question, with a real suffering servant stand up, he can't stand up because he ain't got no seed. So what is he talking about? Go back here to Ezra chapter 1. He says, verse 5. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised, to go up and build to the house of the Lord, which is in. So these men right here still existing because they got seeds. They had sons.
Right.
So he talking about a group of people, because verse 1 and 53 and 1 says, who have believed our report. He already told you that this. It ain't no one person. So it's a burden on them. Well, who the burden was on? It was on the Levites. Well, who got the hell beat out of them on the slave ships? Who got the hell beat out of them over here over here when we got over here? The Levites, Judah, and the Benjamin Levites. That's the suffering servant. Did they not get striped? Did they not got beat across the back with whips?
Oh, yes.
Toby, he told to change their names. Come on. And so it ain't no one person. When the Most High looked down from heaven, he see Judah as one man. And he said the head was sick. So the head is one ended up over here in America. Judah. Let me read one more thing. I'm gonna use this to jump so I can pick it up tonight. So I just brought up Judah, right? So my what I'm supposed to be talking about a little bit, which I'm gonna do it right now, is Judah. Judah, right? That's the tribe where the king's gonna come out of. David came out of Judah. So I'm in Judges chapter 1, and Israel got a problem. Just like right now, Israel got a problem. So I'm in chapter 1, verse 1 says, now, after the death, look at this, you have to go back and break all this down and get an understanding of what, So chapter 1 says, now, after the death of Joshua, everybody knows who Joshua was. He says, after the death of Joshua, it came to pass, I told you about that the children of Israel asked the Lord, see that? Saying, who shall go up for us against the Canaanites first to fight against them? So we see it ain't gonna definitely be that clown we just was dealing with. And it ain't gonna be Herschel Walker. It ain't gonna be W.E. Du Bois and Obama. So then verse 2 says, and the Lord said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hands. See that? So you say, what are you talking about? Well, let's go to this ain't there for GP. There's a reason he got it there. So I'm in Zechariah. Zechariah. Chapter 12. Let me see. 12. Like I said, it's nothing new under the sun. So this is a future prophecy about our predicament now. We over here now. We in captivity. And our king and our priest is no more. So we in the same predicament our forefathers was right there. They want to know who was going to help them. So in chapter 12, verse 1 says, it's the future deliverance of Jerusalem. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, said the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens, laid the foundation of the earth, forming the spirit of man within you. It says, behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut into pieces, though all the people of the earth, see that? Let me read it again. Though all the people of the earth be gathered against it, in that day, saith the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment and his riders with madness. I will open mine eyes upon the house of Judah. I will open my eyes upon the house of Judah. I will smite every horse of the people with blindness, and the governors, that's the kings of Judah, shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and the Lord of hosts their God. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like a heath of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in the sheath, and they shall devour all the people round about on the right hand and on the left, and Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. The Lord also, look at this is my point. So we've been in disarray for over 3,000 years. And now the Lord says right here, the Lord shall save the tents of Judah first. See that? Why? Why are you going to save the tents of Judah first? Judah over here in America. So he says, the Lord shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall do not magnify themselves against Judah. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord. So he got to raise up Judah first. Judah's the one that's going to come and assist the Most High in delivering us. So, like I said, the men of Judah do not look like these clowns that we've been seeing representing us. They ain't the ones. Okay, so I'm gonna open it up for a little Q&A, and we're gonna pick it up tonight with this. I'm gonna do a breakdown on Judges, go into it a little more in depth. Anybody got any comments?
That's why the Lord of Hosts was saying, don't intermingle with them, because
Right.
then you start following their ways. And that's what these, when I look at these, the three men that were talking, they are so, you know, they identify with, they don't identify with the other Israelites. They kind of are trying to intermingle with, you know, their society.
Right.
Trying to, you know, advance in that area.
Right. Monetary. You know, and then it's you know, it don't even. It's like I was saying before, when you understand that what the Lord of Hosts, who he is and what he represented, what he capable of doing, the last thing you need to be worried about is provision. But that's what we keep getting caught up in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he's gonna provide. Like I said, we saw how let me read it because I'm trying to make it to the 2 minute mark, 2 hour mark. So they was in Babylon. I'm in Ezra. I hope this helps somebody. So he says they need provisions. The Lord of Hosts know that. So I'm picking it back up where I was at, verse 5, Ezra 1 and 5. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, and all them who Spirit God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, with gold, with goods, with beasts, and with precious things, besides all that was willingly offered. Also, Cyrus, the king, brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and had put them in the house of his God. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra the treasurer, and numbered them to Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. In case people online that don't know who this Sheshbazzar is, that's Zerubbabel. His name, he got a captive name, just like we got captive name. My name, Johnson, you know, where that comes back to Johnson Plantation. So anyway, it says, and numbered them under Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. So what we read, I'm gonna pick it up in verse 1. Cyrus came on the scene and says, now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia. See that? So Lord of Hosts went and had a conversation with Cyrus and told Cyrus what he wanted him to do. Look what Cyrus did. It says that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing. He didn't just say it, he put it in writing. 2, thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me. See that? He charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. There goes Judah again. So what am I reading? Why would you sit around worrying about 30 pieces of silver when you look what he capable of doing?
Right.
Then he also made the Egyptians. He spoiled the Egyptians. They was getting ready to leave Egypt. They had been there for over 400 and some years. And they were broke and busted. They had no money. And he made the Egyptians take off all their gold off their necks, went in their houses and got their gold out and brought it out there and gave it to the Israelites. So why would you be sitting around fumbling with 30 pieces of silver when you see what he capable of doing? Mm. I keep telling people over and over again, don't they have the gold in individual bars? Mm-hmm. That they got it Fort Knox and all over the place. Why is it in individual bars? Come on. That's over the Gentile and the European head. He don't even know why he did that. Even the little inklings that you get at the bank and the individual balls, for what? So you can handle it. Israelites to handle it. Let that ferment. But anyway, so yeah, so they they selling out for all the wrong reasons now. It's not understanding who the power that the person that's in charge, the Lord of hosts, willed the power he have. Because if you did, they wouldn't do some of the things they do. And that's a major mistake. You can't make that mistake. It's like I said, you can't stick your hand. You got a king snake in one basket and you got a cobra in the other one. You can't make it. You got to put your hand in the right. They tell you to get the king snake out. So which basket in? You stick your hand in the wrong basket. You through. Same thing with this here. You dealing with the Lord of hosts or JC. You ride with one you want to, but it's the repercussions too.
Right.
Yeah, they sound just like, you wouldn't even know they were black. They sound just like racist white people.
Yeah, exactly.
They have no compassion for what, the
Right.
African American has gone through in this country. They keep, if they don't agree, then they need not say anything. I just don't. But I know, like you said, they just, they pick the right people to be our spokespeople on,
Exactly.
Right.
media.
We sitting there idolizing them though. That's what they did. Like I said, Herschel Walker and all them. When you start talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Moses, Joshua, and all them, yeah, because you ran the football, man. That ain't got nothing to do with Israel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Come on.
And if you're spiritually asleep, you're not gonna know that.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
And
Jay-Z, ain't got nothing to do with Israel.
Who gave them the authority to speak on my behalf?
Exactly.
Right. The same person that gave them authority gave you JC.
Right. They want to create the narrative that everybody just follows like sheep.
Exactly.
Blindly follow it.
Like a herd.
Right. But like I said before, we see right here that Most High said that those spirits who he raised. So if you're thinking like a Hebrew, you gotta think about now. Think about don't listen to what I'm saying. That has the Most High raised your spirit.
Right.
Since you've been dealing with this information, has your spirit been raised?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what that is. He orchestrating it.
Right.
It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. He orchestrated. He behind the scenes. He went and got like I said, they fumbled with it, but it says that the angel of the Lord went and got Hagar. It don't say Jesus. It don't say Yahweh.
It sure don't.
It tells you the angel of the Lord went and got Hagar and told her, go back to Abraham.
Yes.
Come on, but they want to fumble with that. The angel came to Abraham in Genesis 18. It ain't Jesus. It ain't Yahweh. So you can fumble with it if you want to. So he said that's eternal being. That means that's eternal being. That means that he lived forever. So where he at now? He up in some he's in some cave somewhere, frozen, not in the Antarctic somewhere, or he up in some refrigerator somewhere. He's an eternal being. He was there from the beginning, dealing with everybody else. Where he at now?
He right here now.
But when did he quit? When did he retire? And Jesus took over.
Oh no, he's not gonna retire.
Okay.
Come on now.
And their king is dead. He just died the other day.
Right.
Come on, Sire.
Ain't that something? Yeah. I told y'all I had been dealing with a lot of this stuff for like since like '99. But I was showing you about that red-headed in the mural on the wall in
Colorado.
yeah. So, but I had did some more research on that, and I was trying to find where I had did that saw that image of the red-haired white boy, the young boy standing on the square, and you know how the Masons got a certain way they stand, and I found out this morning. Matter of fact, was I'm gonna deal with that probably Wednesday or Monday, but it's a mural in the Bank of America, so you can Google it and check it out if you want to. But I'm gonna make some images, so that's where it was at. I was trying to find out where it was at. So it's Bank America that's got this little red-headed white boy, got this mural, got him standing on the square. Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna shock and amaze you when you see it though. But like I said, it's all over the place, but it's been going over our heads. We ain't peeping it out. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So anybody got anything before we go? Any more questions or comments? Yeah, I was gonna say shalom to the brother right here. I can't say his name. Raylan.
So probably a subject for another time, but I really wanted to break down on who Enlil and Enki are, and just so I can kind of rightly divide that, and where they like in Marduk as well. So like see who those figures actually are.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, well, my understanding is, they descendants from the fallen angels that came down in Egypt, the giants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like even Anu, the whole lineage. I just want to break down on how, or is that all the fallen, or is that just like one group of like that whole Anunnaki group, and how, because some of them actually are representations of other ills, right?
Yeah, check this out, right? This is something that you can scope it out. Like I said, a lot of this stuff it takes somebody to ask a question for me to go deal with it because of anyway. So go to Genesis chapter 4 right quick. I don't know anybody else. I don't know anybody else that dealt with this. So it's okay. It's Cain's descendants, chapter 4, Genesis 4 and verse 16. You got it?
Yeah.
So verse 16 says, Cain went out from the presence of we know who Cain's father is the serpent. So Lucifer says, and dwelt in the land of Nod, in east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, she conceived and bore Enoch, and he built a city and called the name after the city, called the name of the city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch, right? 18, and Enoch was born Irid. Irid begot Methuselah, whatever. So what you have to know right here, see they put an A on there, right? They put an A, they got A-E-L, right? But it's E-E-L. It's E-E-L. Okay, you say, well, what you talking about? Well, when you get a chance, go look at the names of those fallen angels. See, you got righteous angels got E-L, but those fallen angels got double E-L. You hear me? AZL, all of them, they got two E's.
Right.
So what they're doing is they naming their sons after the name after they're doing it the same, you know, with the fallen angels. They tying this to the fallen angels. It's double L on the end of it. You got to go look at it. You'll see what I'm talking about. So that's why you got these similar names, but it's the spelling is different. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, that's just like me and you. When you go and start cohabitating and having children, your children, that's your children. I'm over here. I'm another. You're a man. I'm a man. I start cohabitating with women, and I have kids. That's two different lineages, right? Hello.
Right.
That's two different lineages. So 200 angels. 200 angels came on Mount Hermon. Then they said, "Let us go and take us wives." So they went to Egypt. That's 200 different lineages. So when you start talking about Anak, that's just one lineage, and so that's who despised Saul. Caleb and Joshua. Joshua came back and told them, "We will spy the land out. The land is good, but we saw the sons of Anak there. It's 3 of them."
Anak.
Yeah, Anak. Sons of Anak.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, that go over a lot of people's head. It ain't registering with them when they see that type of stuff. Even the city that David took, the Jebusite city that he took from and conquered it and made it Jerusalem. That was a you know, it's a lot of stuff going on with it.
Right. So can we go to a part? I want to go to Joshua 10, because who's this Adizanadek, king of Jerusalem, at Joshua 10?
Right. So that's what I'm talking about tonight. But it's Adoni. That's what you talking about?
Yeah, Adonai Zedek. Right.
Right. So I was telling you, I showed you that you got an Enoch. Cain got a son called Enoch, right?
Right.
Yahweh got a son called Enoch, right?
Yep.
Right.
So you got who is Melchizedek?
That's the Lord of Hosts.
Now.
Oh, Shem, my bad.
Shem is Melchizedek. Well, Adonai is the cut off of that. That's a giant. He was ruling, and he was the king over all the giants in that area before Joshua and Joshua and Moses and them came in the land. He was Adonai Zig was the one. Like I said, we're going off into a whole nother dimension, but he the one that was ordered all the giants. They left. A remnant of them left and went around over to in Europe. So
are we sure Melchizedek is not the Lord of Hosts?
No. Cain is Melchizedek.
Who?
I mean,
I'm talking about Melchizedek, who met with Abraham.
Shem.
That was the priest of the Most High, right? And we know the Lord of Hosts ministered directly onto the Most High.
No.
Melchizedek himself.
You got to go back to Enoch. What did Enoch do?
He was a scribe.
Yeah, but he went up to heaven, and then what happened?
He became an angel, right? But he was a scribe, right?
No. Enoch went up and got all the knowledge that was going on in heaven. Nobody knew that before that. What was going on? He brought it back down to the earth.
Yeah, he brought the knowledge down, right?
So then what happened? All the people on the earth, the kings on the earth, somebody doing the most. So all the kings on the earth came to Enoch to get his knowledge. That's Melchizedek. They came to him. Then what happened? Then Enoch told them he was getting ready to be translated. So they all came to this one area to get the knowledge from Enoch. But Enoch gave them the knowledge and led them, and then he ascended up. He passed that on that kingship, he passed it on to his son.
So Enoch is the first Melchizedek.
Right. Then he's going on, keep on going. That's the order of Melchizedek.
Okay, so it starts with Enoch. Okay, all right. Well, you see where it starts. That makes sense.
Right. And so that's Melchizedek that came out. Shem came out to meet Abraham. That's Melchizedek. But like I said, once they concocted JC at the Council of Nicaea, they went back and plugged him in all these spots and made you think it's him. But that's
Yeah, I know it's not him, but yeah, it's the way he comes in there is very mysterious. You know, in the Old Testament, of course, they had got a hold of our records. He may have came in a different way in the original records because he was real mysterious, like out of nowhere, right?
Right. So you have to look at that when you understand what they had done. When where did Jacob get all his knowledge from?
The Lord of hosts.
No. We read in Jasher and in Jubilees that Jacob was sent to Shem and Eber house. And he was raised there. That's the reason why Esau he had to Abraham had to tell Rebecca what to do when it was time for her for Jacob to receive the blessing. She told him you're gonna have to do this and this in order for him to get the blessing, because all that time that Jacob was gone living with Shem and Eber, Abraham had got fond of Esau. He loved Esau, the venison Esau had. So he knew that Esau, when the time came, he knew Esau was wicked as hell, but he knew when the time came for the blessing that Esau was going to give it to Esau. Isaac was going to give that blessing to Esau. To Esau. So he told Rebecca what to do. So when the time came, Rebecca sent, made the venison and gave it to Jacob and told him to go in there and get the blessing because Isaac. Not only that, I'm showing you how the Lord of hosts is involved in everything. So not only with that, he the one had Isaac's eyes dim. He the one who had him where he couldn't see. And then when Jacob came in there, he blessed him. That was the doings of the Most High, the Lord of hosts. He's gonna bless him. But the point I'm making is they don't show you where Jacob got all his understanding from. Jacob went and lived for a long time with Eber and Shem. But Esau didn't care about that. Esau stayed there. He was dealing, and he dealt with Isaac. And Isaac had grown fond of him, but Jacob had lived in the house of Eber and Shem for 10 to 20 years. Getting that knowledge from Melchizedek, the knowledge that was passed down from Melchizedek, from Enoch. Yeah, but that's been taken out. That's why it looks like it's mysterious the way Melchizedek come on the scene in the Bible, because they don't tell you, they don't show you the order and the process of events that had happened to lead to Melchizedek, to lead to him showing up.
Right, and the biggest thing, he gave a tenth on him, and we give, of course, it's to the Levites, but it's really to the Lord of hosts, right?
Right, and then it's to the headship,
right?
And it's to the people that getting the knowledge from the Most High. That's the 10%,
right?
Because they don't have time to be doing nothing else. Right. Yeah. So anybody else got anything? Yeah. So we're gonna pick this up at 6 o'clock tonight. We're gonna pick up where we left off at part 2. Let me close out. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll see y'all tonight at 6 o'clock.
Shalom.
All right, shalom, everyone.